So this is the all-new Honor Magic 8 Pro, and it comes out around £1,099. So that's full flagship money, no excuses, no shortcut, and no pretending to be anything else. Honor is clearly putting this phone directly into the same conversation as the biggest name out there. I've been using this phone for the past 3 weeks now, and here's everything you actually need to know. So the moment you pick up this little puppy, it does feel solid. It's a big phone, but the curved edges help it sit naturally in your hands. The whole thing just feels like confident, not like a delicate phone. And it's about 8.4 millimeters thick, and it weighs roughly 219 grams. And you feel that weight straight away. Most of that sit on the camera modular itself, but it's top heavy. All that is because of the camera band that is perfectly top center. All the main buttons are on the right hand side of the device, so that includes the volume rocker, the power button, and the dedicated AI shutter button. So they are really easy to use with your thumb. They're all just there, easy to use without any awkward stretching. And durability is a strong point here as well, because the Magic 8 Pro come with IP68, IP69, and IP69K rating, meaning it's dust tight and protect against immersion in water, so you can just dunk it in the swimming pool, high pressure water jets, and even high temperature sprays. And the display is covered with nano crystal shield glass, which feels tough and reassuring. So overall, this phone doesn't feel like you have to baby it. It feels like a flagship you can use every day, just tossing it around without stressing. And one interesting thing, because while gaming on this phone, the edge of the phone and the camera modular actually feel it quite comfortable just to hold it and rest your hand away. The only issue is you touching all the camera modular itself, fingerprints over the camera, but it's not a deal breaker. You can just easily just give it a clean, just something to keep in mind, to be honest. So straight away, let's talk cameras, because that is the center point, the heart of the Magic 8 Pro. That circular camera modular on the back is not subtle at all. It is a visual center of the phone, and is sending that clear message straight away that this phone is built around photography. And inside this circle have a serious setup of camera. So the headline camera here is that 200 megapixel ultra night telephoto with optical image stabilization and an 83.7x zoom, which land you around 85 millimeters. So on paper, that number sounds massively, but how the phone uses it in a day-to-day matters more than a specification itself. Now, this is something that's pretty normal with phones these days, but it's important to be clear about it. So the normal here in quotes, camera mode is the default, and realistically, 99% of people buying this phone from the carrier for the shop will be using this mode. So you open the camera, you tap the shutter, you post in social media, and you move on. And the default mode, even when you are using the 85 millimeters, so theoretically that 200 megapixel, you're actually getting a 10 megapixel photo. And that is not a bug, it's actually a choice. So the phone is using pixel binding and heavy processing to prioritize speed, HDR, noise control, and stabilization. And in everyday use, it works. So colors look great, dynamic range holds up well, and photos are sharp enough for social media, messaging it up, or just sharing it with the family. In good light, even moving objects come out super well. Where it starts to see the limitations when you start zooming hard or cropping aggressively, because you are working with a 10 megapixel file. Details break down sooner, and this is not the mode that you want for large print or heavy cropping. This is the mode that you take for social media and other stuff. If you want the full 200 megapixel sensor here, you need to dig a little bit into the settings. So you need to open the camera app, go into the more section, and open high resolution mode. From there, you are locked into 3 fixed focal lengths. You've got 12 millimeters using one of the 50 megapixel sensors at the back, 23 millimeters, that's the main camera, you're using another 50 megapixel sensor at the back, or your 85 telephoto using the whole 200 megapixel. And once you enter this mode, it really feels like you're not using a phone anymore, and you're using a proper camera to take pictures because it just, everything just looks so well. Like, this is where you really slow down, you frame your shot, you think your composition, and you actually think about what you're shooting, because the result really is going to show all the details, all the sharpness. The high resolution shots are instantly, honestly, thanks to the processor inside this phone, but photos come out with incredible colors, insane details, and they're generally super, super sharp. And of course, you can post these pictures straight to social media and they look super, super sharp. 200 megapixel photos, it looks incredible. But lens transitions are smooth as well. So it doesn't start juggling around, like colors stay natural when switching lenses, exposure doesn't jump, and tones stay consistent. And the zoom is actually really good between 10x and 15x, so I'm still usable. Like past the 20x, all the way to 100x, because this phone, you can take it all the way to 100x thanks to the digital zoom. Well, you need steady hands and good lighting because shutter speed really matters here, which is expected, of course. But AI processing feel honest. There is no weird hallucination. Text is readable around 340mm focal length. And if you're shooting like animals or buildings or traffic lights, everything looks brilliant, to be honest. And the 50 megapixel camera is the most reliable for everyday use. So skin tone look natural, colors are balanced, and it handle tricky light super well. And the 50 megapixel ultra wide covers 122 degrees field of view and also work as a macro camera, which I only used a couple of times, to be honest. But you got portrait mode. It's actually a really good portrait mode thanks to the combination of all the lenses at the back. No matter if it's humans or if it's animals, and I've been taking pictures of my cats like non-stop just to see how it actually works, and the detail and the blurriness as well, and it's brilliant. So if you're looking for a proper point and shoot experience, like one photo done, this phone is incredible. It's no worries. And if video matters to you, the rear camera also supports 4K 120 frames per second. So you do have plenty of flexibility for smooth footage and clean slow motion without sacrificing any quality whatsoever. And under the hood, we still have Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 paired with 12GB of LPDDR5X RAM and 512GB of UFS 4.0 storage. And this is not about numbers, it's not about benchmarks, it's all about how this phone actually feels in a daily use. I do wish they had a little bit more storage. It doesn't got expandable storage either. So 512 is okay, but I wish it had like maybe 1TB option or 2TB option, but everything is instant. So apps open straight away, multitasking is effortless, and switching between like heavy apps, games, like pushing the phone to the limit. It's no stutter, no hesitation, and no thermal issues during use whatsoever. And I have thrown gaming, high resolution photo editing, and long camera session with it, and it does stay smooth and stable throughout. Performance never comes something you think about in this phone. It just works in the background. It just, honestly, that's exactly what I want from a flagship. It's fast, straight out of the box, it stays fast, and it gets out of the way. It just works. And up front, well, you do have a 6.7-inch OLED display with round corners and a dynamic LTPO panel that adjusts between 1 Hz and all the way to 120 Hz. So scrolling feel butter smooth all day long. And because it's LTPO, the phone saves battery when high refresh rates are not needed. Colors are top notch with 10-bit depth, covering the full DCI-P3 color gamut, and brightness is insane. This thing outside it just performs. Picks up around 6,000 nits of HDR, and even in a standard mode, it reached 1,600 nits outdoors. So this display stays clear, readable, even in super direct sunlight. You can be used texting and doing anything. And at the top, we got a hole punch housing, another 50 megapixel paired with a 3D depth camera. And it also supports 4K 60 for all those like talking head selfie styles that you want to take with this phone. But how is the battery? Because inside, you got a massive 6,270 milliamps lithium polymer battery using Honor's next generation silicon carbon technology. The silicon content has increased by 50%, which basically means more energy in the same space for better battery. And every use like browsing, social media, messaging, and casual photography, the phone easily can last about a full day, day and a half, even with high-res photography and session gaming, just moving around. It manages power and heat consistently. It's incredible. And charge is serially impressive. I do have a 100-watt charger here, and it does go on a supercharger, so go from 0 to 50% in around 12 to 15 minutes. And it also got 80-watt wireless supercharger through, well, that requires a separate charger from Honor, but either way, topping up is fast enough that you can just plug it in for a couple minutes if you forgot to charge it last night, and it's gonna last. And in the train, you can just plug it in for like a couple minutes or whatever, and it's gonna charge. But the elephant in the room here, this is a flagship device, so £1,099. You're playing with like, well, high-end camera, a powerful Snapdragon processor, a massive adaptive OLED display, and next generation battery tech. And when you compare it with like Samsung or Google Pixels or iPhones, the Magic 8 punch above away, especially when it comes to the camera and the telephoto camera and the higher resolution photography. And yeah, you are not getting expandable storage. This is capped of 512GB maximum, and that might matter for some people, to be honest. And it's also a bit heavy on one side, but overall, it is a complete flagship experience with real-world advance in cameras and the charging, honestly, a 100-watt charger. Many competitors like this one here, this cannot match it at all. That's mental. You just plug it in and it just charges in a couple of minutes. It's crazy. And while the cameras are excellent, getting the full 200 megapixel experience requires a full extra step. Like if I give this phone to my mum, for example, she would never bother to do that. She would just take pictures as normal. So, you know, people buying this phone, or you know what you're actually buying and how to get there, or you're just missing out, basically. But that is the Honor Magic 8 Pro flagship performance, flagship cameras, and a display and battery that you can handle everything you throw at it. So just let me know in the comment section below what you actually think about the Honor Magic 8 Pro. Just let me know down below. I know you're over there. Just don't forget to subscribe. And as always, guys, I'm Checo Tech. I will see you on the next one. Adios.